Hey friends, this is Boomy here. I'm going to go over this month's gi drills. Let's take a look. So, this month we're going to be focusing on the armbar to triangle to omoplata drill. Let's watch it through together. So the goal here is to practice getting to your armbar, securing the arm in some fashion, pushing off that hip, bringing your leg up and over, and letting your partner pull their arm out as if you did not have good enough attachment, swinging your hips to look for that triangle, securing the head in your own leg to keep them down, closing up the triangle, and then they defend the triangle by bringing their arm over your leg, and you switch your hips once again, sitting up into the omoplata. We'll see this again from a different point of view. So securing arm in some way, really using good flexion on the armpit leg or the hip side leg to secure him down for that arm bar. Switching over to triangle, you saw his arm tuck. And so now we're switching our hips once again, sitting up in the omoplata, securing the waist so that he doesn't roll over, staying into a 90-90 leg position, and then hip up to finish the attack. One more time. Securing the arm, see this leg as it clamps down, and then the one over the head also clamps down. He pulls his arm out, we shift the triangle. He defends himself here with the arm. We're sitting up in omoplata. So let's go over some of the details for each of the attacks. For the arm bar, you can grab near side collar, you can grab sleeve, you can do two at the high end, you can do elbow grips. It doesn't matter too much. The point is securing the arm and bringing it across. Now, you're going to step your foot in the hip to swivel your body to look at the far side ear. The ideal is the hip. You can do it on the floor if you don't have enough flexibility, but the goal is to get the flexibility over time. And then you're going to flex the knee for the hip side leg in order to pin him in place. You can call it like back heeling, going heel to butt, however you want to describe it, but it is ultimately flexion at the knee to hold him in place. So once again, from a different angle, swiveling, creating a perpendicular angle to my opponent. Yep. Back heeling, hip up to finish the attack. So I just show some different arm grips here. See how we're up in the armpit, clamping down, so that we've had their posture broken down. That's the main detail. Looking at the triangle, as they pull their arm out and you swivel their triangle, one of the most important details is to see how I have two hands on that leg. You need to secure either their head or the leg, really keep them broken down before you bring your leg up and over. If you need to, you can use that free leg to push off of the hip, as we did earlier, and we'll show again here. So reaching up, grabbing, securing the breakdown. I can push off the hip if I need to clear more room, or if I need to get some elevation to get the arm across, and then bringing that across. One more time. Now what I'm showing right here is, A, I'm securing the opponent, making sure they're broken down, but two, I want the knees as close together as I can get them before I lock in. One of the biggest mistakes a lot of people who start doing triangles, they lock at the very end, right at the ankle. And the issue is that it, depending on the length of your leg compared to the broadness of the person you're working with, it may not ever close up enough. It's just way too big of a space. So if you watch here, this is a good example of bringing this knee as close as I can. Look at that. I'm almost halfway up my own shin in order to close the gap here to make sure that it is very tight before I start to squeeze, before I start to turn, before I start to do anything else. And personally, I like to put my hand, that ankle side hand, to create a physical wedge to remind myself to keep this knee as inward as possible. I should be driving this knee down toward the other knee. Again, doing this during transition as you create the lock as opposed to after. It's very hard to slide your leg up once it's locked in place. It is much, much easier to place it in the right place and then lock it down from there. Looking at some omoplata details, one of the hardest parts is just sitting up in a smooth manner. As we transition from the triangle, so Here, he's defended the triangle by bringing the arm around, so I want to attack that arm that's hidden. And we'll look at it from a different angle in a second. To that sitting up position, the goal is to get that into a smoother motion. From there, you're going to grab either the hip, the belt, something along those lines to keep them from spinning forward or rolling forward. So right here, his arm is hidden. I'm spinning around, kind of using this outside foot to push off. If you want to be mean, you can push off their bicep or their head. And creating the ability to, again, keep their arm trapped by my leg. Getting my feet into a 90-90 position right here. In the most ideal version, right, so we get that 90-90 with your legs, you're trying to drive their shoulder into the ground as best you can with the leg that's locking the arm. And then you want to attach yourself to the person as best possible. You can do a seatbelt grip, you can grab at the collar, you can grab at fabric. The more secure the grip, the better, because now they have no chance of really pulling you back and throwing you on your butt or your back in order to get away. And this also prevents all of the kind of forward rolls that don't roll your hips forward, kind of squeeze you underneath your own hips. So that arm is defending the triangle, pushing off that far side hip into a sitting up motion as smoothly as can be. Putting your legs in that 90-90 orientation. And then you'll notice that from here, I'll be driving off of this back leg, driving my hips forward for the finish. All right. Hopefully this helps. These are just some details of this drill. There are plenty of details that we have not covered, many different options depending on what your opponent gives you. But my goal is simply to make it so that everybody has a starting point and are able to move their hips back and forth and transition between those different attacks from guard. So hopefully this helps. Please, if you have any questions, leave it in the comments down below. Reach out to me directly. Ask me at class. Happy to help and improve doing jiu-jitsu together. All right. Take it easy. Thank you much. Bye.